What's up, yeah, Joe? So two events I went to for well, two out of the many events I went to for Halloween this October, right? But they were pretty short in the sense that I didn't have the feeling to walk around with my camera, film every little thing. Also if you guys don't know, I use a gimbal to film, right? And I get my old phone that I don't use anymore to film, right? I don't use my actual real phone at the moment. So, like the quality out of this phone at the moment sucks ass, especially when it's dark. So there's very little like I can do to like capture good moments with this camera for now. Down the line, I definitely wouldn't mind getting a better camera. So that being said, we went to another convention, right? It's called the Son of Monsterpalooza, and it was up in Burbank. It was about like a 40-minute drive from where we live, right? It was fun. It was definitely fun. I mean, it was definitely like a lot of like the typical shit that you expect from like the other convention, right? The same vendors. The cool thing about this trip and the Son of Monsterpalooza is like we actually went to like some interview or discussion panels with like some interesting people, right? One of them was Phil Tippett. If you don't know who Phil Tippett is, he's actually he's like the guy that did like the animation work, stop animation for Star Wars, right? Any miniature puppet that was used in Star Wars, he did that. He did some work for RoboCop, doing Ed 209. Also, there's a stop motion animation that came out called Mad God. The funny thing is that he made it very clear. It's like, do not ask me anything about Star Wars. He's so tired of like answering questions about Star Wars because everybody mainly knows him from Star Wars. So he just like he cut that shit at the knees. He's like, nah, the fucking talk to me about Star Wars. Probably like, the most interesting thing that came out of listening to him talk is that he said like when he made the book, where it showed like all of his work and his history and stuff like that, he got copies of his book and then he handed it out to his family, right? I don't know. He said something that kind of I kind of related to, which I thought was kind of interesting. He said that when his family and his younger family members, nephews or younger cousins or whatever, they all looked at his work, right? And they were like, "What the fuck? You do this?" Like they knew what he does. Like he worked for the movies, but they didn't know exactly what he did, right? Which is kind of funny to think about. And one of those things you take for granted. Be like, "Oh yeah, I worked at Jurassic Park. Did some work for Star Wars." Like that was his lifestyle, right? So when his family members went through his book, they just like had this new profound respect for it because they didn't realize what he actually did. And they said like he had like the self-realization as well. It's like, well, fuck, I know what I do, but I didn't realize what I do, right? He was up there with some friends and like they were just like chatting, like talking, bullshit, There was another discussion panel, which was for Halloween 3. The director and some of the actors were there talking about the movie Halloween 3, right? If you're not into like horror movies that much, a quick little rundown of what's going on. So the first Halloween movie, with Michael Myers, people loved it, right? The movie studios, they wanted to bank on the momentum of like the success of the first one. So the director of the first one, John Carpenter, they asked him to make a second one. And the interesting thing is like around that time, this movie was made in 1978. Sequels for movies weren't really a thing, right? So when they made the second one, I guess like it was kind of rushed or whatever. So whatever, I guess like still did good. So they asked him to make a third one, and by then John Carpenter had nothing to do with it. So they passed it on to another guy. They called it the Season of the Witch, and it was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. So when they made Halloween 3, a lot of people didn't like it because they were expecting Michael Myers to be in the movie, like in the first two. But what they were trying to do is basically make it like a franchise into something that happened around Halloween. So they made the movie without Michael Myers, and like people didn't like that movie. However, the thing is that like now, people are going back to that movie and they actually like it on its own, right? Even though it had nothing to do with like the first two. Like on its own, the movie's actually good, right? I haven't watched it yet. I need to catch up on that shit. But the thing is there's been like an emergence in interest in that movie. So they were talking about that, about what's going on with Halloween 3. And they were surprised at how much people loved it, right? It's like we're so used to say the Marvel universe, which is one movie after another, boom, 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 they're all related, right? Yeah, but back in when movies started, sequels was not a thing. It was like, they make a movie, then they forget about it and move on, and that's it, right? So yeah, I guess horror movies started with that sequel thing. I don't know, that was kind of interesting. So yeah, we walked around. I'll post some pictures of the stuff we did and some of the people that we saw, some of the dressed up and shit like that. People definitely go all out when it comes to the Halloween costumes and the cosplayers. So yeah, I'll be sharing some pictures here. But yeah, that's basically Son of Monsterpalooza. It was it was small, short, obviously, so fun. I don't think I ever want to go back to it, to be honest, mainly because it's in Burbank. It's very far and it's just I don't feel like driving that much. I'm at that point. I'm like, eh. So another event that we went to, and this is something that we set up with some people, met some new people online to go hang out, is that we went to Knott's Berry Farm, right, for the Halloween haunt. Knott's offers a additional thing along with their Halloween event, which is called the buffet or whatever, for the general public. Say like during the day they have a Not Spooky Farm that's more family friendly. You could go with your kids dressed up, you walk around and they give candy to little kids, right? Around 5 o'clock they close the park, they kick everyone out, and then until 7 o'clock that's where like Knott's Halloween haunt opens up again, and they let people in, you know, to go to like the mazes and all that shit, right? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go to the buffet first. At 5 o'clock they let you in early, they let you eat. Then at 6 o'clock, they open up Ghost Rider, which is right next to the restaurant, right? And like Ghost Rider is basically like an old school, like all wooden, a very fast paced, like, roller coaster, right? So we're able to get on that first before like the general public. At 6:30, they opened up some mazes for us. So we're able to like knock out 4 mazes before like people were able to enter. Then 7 o'clock, the doors open and everybody else enters, right? But for the most part, yeah, it was fun. You had like monsters going around, sitting at the table, talking to you. Messing around with you, stuff like that. That was fun. Is a buffet worth it? It's cost like $45 to get a spot to get the dinner, so you can enter early. You have to pay for the ticket for like the Halloween haunt separate, and then the buffet is separate as well, right? It doesn't count as like an entry ticket. I think it's worth it in the sense of like, you go, you hang out, you have some food, you meet up with your friends, and then you can get like on a ride, and then you go on a mazes, right? If you go with a group of people and then you fuck around and have fun, I think it's worth it, right? But if you're gonna go to experience some awesome food or whatever, I think it's kind of like iffy, really, to be honest. I mean, overall, I had a blast. It was a fun day. It was a very fun day. Halloween, we definitely been saving up a lot to like do a lot of shit during Halloween. But Halloween haunt Universal so far has been the best experience, and yeah, that's it's gonna be hard to top, at least for me at the moment. But anyways, that's what I have to say. Today is October the 30th, it's the end of the month, so. We're gonna start saving some money so we can like do some other cool stuff for Christmas. There's definitely a lot of cool events that we want to check out, that we know of, that we want to go and do. So yeah, I look forward to that. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. That's what I have to say. Take care and peace.